So can you, right, since it's the first time you're in front of camera, can you briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah, so hi, I'm David. I'm the goalkeeper of the Chelsea Rovers Saturday team, and I joined last July, so I've been here just under a year now. So.
Okay, where are you from?
I'm from Crawley, which is a little town near London, near Gatwick Airport, and my family is all Italian, from Sardinia, so yeah.
Finally won the league.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, incredible. The culmination of weeks and weeks of hard work and training, and obviously a lot of commitment. And I mean, I knew when we got to the game on the Saturday, the 6-pointer against Selhurst, I knew we were gonna push through and manage it, because we had a lot more motivation than we had, or than the other team had. So. Yeah, I mean, like I say, the combination of a lot of hard work, and it really should come as no surprise. So yeah, I'm over the moon.
What do you think was the main motivating factor behind our success?
That's a good question. I think a lot of turning points in the season came after like individual games. So the first game we lost was followed up by another loss. Like quite shortly after, and after that point, it made us just put a lot more hard work in on the training ground, and then I think that was one turning point where we had like a tiny bit of a rough patch, and then there was another turning point when we beat Selhurst the first time, the 1-0. I think that gave us like the motivation we needed to go, 10 games unbeaten towards the end. But that's how I think of it. I always refer back to like individual games. And like think how the mentality changed after those games. And I think Richmond the first time and Selhurst the first time were those like turning points in terms of games. So yeah.
So you think we developed quite a lot over the season?
We developed, yeah, for sure, 100%. I remember the first game we lost actually. We were pressed really well by the opponents, and that made us like reconsider how we played when we came up against teams that played differently to us, because not every team plays football like we do, right? We play on the ground, we play quite nice football, whereas some teams don't play like that. And I think that was a bit of a lesson when we came up against those teams, and we really needed to adapt our style and understand that actually sometimes you need to change the way you play based on like the way your opponents play, obviously, right? So I think in that sense, there was a lot of development. Yeah, 100%.
We know that finding teams isn't an easy thing. How'd you come to find Chelsea Rovers?
Yeah, that's funny. So I reached out. It was after lockdown. I needed to stay fit, so I reached out to somebody who ran a 5-a-side, and he was like, "Are you sure you want to do a 5-a-side? Isn't there like, don't you want to do 11-a-side football instead?" And I said, "Okay, I suppose I could." So he referred me to Norbert, the coach, and gave me his number. And I didn't expect it to be like this, right? I didn't expect it to be such a well set up club and such a well structured and well run club. So I came down to training. I didn't think much of it at the time, but then, like I say, I'm glad I joined in the end. The rest is history.
Were you at another club before you joined?
So I played for a few clubs actually. Before I came to London, I played for Three Bridges. That was quite a while ago. I must have left when I was like 17, 18. And then I was at Brighton Academy for like a couple months as well, which was nice, and that was a good experience. But yeah, those are the main two I was at before coming here.
Okay, you mentioned Norbert. He's an amazing coach. What do you think of him?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. What more can you say that hasn't been said? I think Norbert is one of those people where, like, he can compel a lot of people into listening to him and like buying into what he says just based on like his manner and his approach. The sort of person that can like strict but fair, right? Sometimes you get people who are too strict or too fair, and either end of the spectrum is not good. But with Norbert, he's got a great balance of both. And you can tell that he's managed people for a long time, right? Because he's managed in a capacity outside of football before. and you can tell that he's got experience in doing so. And a lot of it is about man management as well as the coaching side of things. On the coaching side of things, yeah, obviously very, very clued up, very, very aware about how each different position and each different function in a team contributes to the broader function of the team or the broader goal of the team, which a lot of coaches miss. I think a lot of coaches are solely focused on like what the front three should do, or what the midfield should do, or what the back four should do. Not all of them are clued up on, like I say, how each function contributes to the broader goal of the team, whereas I think Norbert is. So yeah, big fan.
I've seen in the videos of your matches, of your saves, I can see that you developed yourself a lot over the season. Do you think Norbert helped, or did you focus on something separately, individually? Or?
Yeah, a bit of both. I think if I had to think about the things that I figured out separately, the first one would be like positioning. So I look back at a couple of the VO, like the VO games, on the footage rather, and I noticed that sometimes my positioning was like I hugged the post too much. So when the ball's out wide, sometimes I hug the near post too much, and having the ability to see that after the game is obviously very, very helpful. So I tried to consciously think about it in games, and I developed that side of things 100%. Aerial ability is a funny one, because sometimes when you're playing on pitches that whose conditions aren't necessarily perfect, with like you have like a dodgy ground or a lot of wind or something, aerial ability becomes like tough to master. So that was one that Norbert and I worked on throughout the course of the season for sure, because the conditions they do play a part when it comes to that kind of thing. So yeah, it's definitely a mixture of both, 100%.
Well, the season has ended, and we're already looking to pre-season. What are your plans next season? Do you plan to stay with us or go higher up, maybe?
Yeah, no, I plan to stay 100%. I think the environment here is excellent. Like you only really appreciate a good environment when you've been in a bad environment. You seem to. Well, I used to take a lot of good environments for granted. I used to think. I mean, I was lucky enough that pretty much every environment I stepped into was really, really nice, right? And then suddenly you start to find pools of like bad environments with cultures that aren't as great, and then you come to appreciate a place like this a lot more. And I think finding a place like this that's so well structured and well run is difficult. So I'd be happy to play elsewhere casually, for sure. But in terms of what my plans are for next season, I will be staying here. There's no doubt about that.
So looking forward to next season. What are your goals?
Yeah, I think it'll be a great challenge, right? Because as a keeper, your challenges or your game time really comes when you play against teams that are a lot better than you. And I'm not saying the teams next year will be a lot better than us. I think we're going to be very, very competitive. I think we've seen that in a couple of the games we played against teams from a higher league already. But I think there'll be a ton of learning curves, right? I think the pressure that we're going to face from other teams with stronger attacks is going to teach us a lot. So I think pre-season should be about that. It should be about the defence soaking up pressure and making sure that we don't get overrun by teams that are A, more physical, because that's a factor, and B, more technically adept than us. So yeah, I think it's going to be an incredible learning curve for us. But I think we'll definitely manage it. I don't see any reason why we can't compete with teams at that level. But yeah.
Who would you pick as a key player?
As a key player for our team?
For our team next season.
I've always said that the wingers, because obviously we play a 4-2-3-1, so the wingers on the three, I've always said that they're the most, I don't want to say the most important, right? But they're certainly key to me, because a lot of teams will seek to overlap on our fullback, and if the wingers don't help individually in terms of tracking back to stop that overlap being successful or being effective, then it makes things so much harder, because having a man in on the side and a bunch of players running towards you, it's an easy recipe for a chance or a goal. And it's really, really tough for wingers to be constantly thinking about going all the way up the pitch and then all the way back down the pitch. So Socrates comes to mind. He's incredible when it comes to tracking back and putting in a shift defensively. And I think you'd only notice the value of that contribution when somebody doesn't do it right, when somebody's not there to pick up the man, then you start to notice. So I'd say probably Socrates, Mickey Bear.
Thank you for your time today. Obviously, you have your last match of the season.
Yeah.
Would you like to add on anything? Say something to the fans.
Yeah, I mean, I found it interesting that we had like a nice presence from fans, and that we had a lot of support from fans. I think that was incredible to hear about. And yeah, I think also to the management. I think this is such a well structured and well run club, and people are happy here. You can tell, right? Like I don't need to tell you that, but yeah, people are incredibly happy here. The place is great, the environment's great, the culture's great. I'm just looking forward to next season. I'm looking forward to playing in a more competitive environment, and I'm looking forward to being challenged and to learning more. Yeah, I can't wait.
Brilliant. You know any Korean? You can say anything.
Any Korean? Oh no, I don't. Oh no, unfortunately, my dad worked for a Korean company, so I was going to go to Seoul actually, but I didn't manage to in the end, which is a shame because I really wanted to go. In terms of my Korean, no, my language skills are non-existent, unfortunately. 감사합니다. 사랑해요. 연애가 중요해.
Okay. Well, that was the interview with our keeper, David Ardisson.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very much for your time.
Likewise, thank you.